today. We are talking more liposuction, fat transfer, 360 lipo, and how we get rid of these big bellies, the hanging bellies without a tummy tuck. So stay tuned. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm here to answer questions for you. If you want to get motivated and inspired, we got that too. Just got back from my live TV interview on Channel 8 here in Las Vegas, so you're going to check that out soon. We actually recorded that live, so you can go back and look at that. So that's why I'm dressed up nice, looking good, feeling good. And it's I think indicative in the same concept. Just when you look good, you feel good, and so similar with liposuction. When you are looking the way that you want to look, it allows you to think in a different way, and when you are feeling better about yourself, you have less restrictions, less inhibition. And for most of us, alcohol does this to us, right? It gives us less inhibition. But when you're feeling better about yourself and you're feeling happy and you're good and so you're elevated, you're more likely to do the things that you want to do. In contrast, when you feel like crap, you feel bloated, you feel heavy, you feel fat, you feel like you don't look the way that you want to look, then you're less likely to do things. Make sense? So, most of us are walking around restricting ourselves in every aspect of our lives. And I am proposing that you make a decision in your life and decide to stop restricting yourself, stop limiting yourself, stop hiding. When I say hiding might be, not taking pictures. Hiding might be, wearing dark clothes because of it's thinning. Hiding might be, standing behind people when you're taking pictures. That's a big way of hiding. These girls wear these big moo type clothes, and the idea is they think it's covering up, but the truth is it's big, and it's just like it's not really covering up. People, use your imagination. You can see this stuff. Look at this. This big hanging draping dress. You can use your imagination. She's a big girl. That's the reason why she was wearing it. But then, in contrast, after she's had 360 lipo and she feels better about herself, she's more likely to make these decisions that are flattering, right? Because you can clearly see she feels better about herself. When she's embarrassed and she's hiding the way that she looks, it's a certain look, certain feel. And I'm sure that you can appreciate this, and you know what I'm talking about. But I want to keep beating a dead horse with this, because it's the truth. And sometimes people need to hear the truth in order to move past it. Look at this big hanging draping dress. She's hiding, right? But the truth is, you can see she's not hiding. You can see this big belly underneath. It's clear. It's there. We all know this stuff. So realize that the only one you're hiding from is yourself. And at some point, you need to get past that and start taking actions so you can get away from that. And you can feel like yourself. Because the truth is this fat, it's not really you. It's like, imagine it's like a big blanket that's covering you. And all we're doing is taking that blanket off to unveil what you're supposed to be. And it allows you to become who you're supposed to be. Pretty cool, right? Get rid of these big belly, then all of a sudden, you're going out at night. Watch out, husbands. You're just a new person. The cool thing is that I just recently had this patient. She had her liposuction and looks good. Her face changed, and all of a sudden it's like her husband was super excited and big smile, and was like, that to me that's rewarding. When the patients tell me they're happy, that's it's always good that way. But when the husbands give me the two thumbs up, and it's like getting a new wife. It's fun, right? We always like to imagine a little bit, and the ability to, have something that you haven't had before, it gives you that excitement for a little while. So how about having a new body for a little while? How cool would that be, right? Okay, Silva, let's see. What exact areas does Lipo 360 cover? All right, so I'm going to describe this with words. And I'm also going to kind of point to myself. So the upper limit of the 360 lipo, we're going to go just below the breast line. So ladies, you lift your breast up, you're going to have a natural endpoint right there. We're going to go all the way up to that point. And down below, we are trying to get rid of the fold, the hang. So we need to go down and cross over that fold. And we actually go into the pubic area as well. Many times people have fullness into the pubic area. We want the whole thing flat. It's all included. Pubic area, the front of the abdomen, we're making the whole thing flat. So it's everything on the front. And then on the sides, we're trying to make the hourglass figure. So I need to go down low enough on the sides to create that hourglass figure. You can see we're going down to about right here. In most cases, this is about midway through the butt. That's about how wide we go to start with the hips. And this is what we're doing is we're creating that elongated curve. So you can see how these long curves go up here as opposed to this straight boxy look. So we start down low on the side to create those elongated curves. This is all 360 lipo. And then when you swing around to the back side, so we're treating this lower back area here, and you can see the fullness that people carry in that lower back. Even smaller individuals, it really surprises me that people carry quite a bit of fat in that lower back. And taking it out, you can imagine if you have this normal curve to your back and it fills in with fat and it's straight up and down, well, that curve's still there, it's just underneath the fat. So when we take the fat off, it creates that curve, and then it blends right into the butt. And what it does is it makes it look like the booty pops out. And that's why we keep saying this phrase, booty pop. This was started, one of my patients started this a couple years back, and it just kind of stuck. But you can see how the booty pops out when you take this fat in the lower back here. It creates, and it's not when I say create, it's really just uncovering. We're uncovering the natural curve. She already had this here. She already had this body. Okay, I was just uncovering it for her. And you can see how it makes that booty pop out. And this is no fat transfer. What's up, glorious woman? You're back. Greetings from South Carolina. Is it raining out there? It's been pouring out here. We get monsoon summers out here in Vegas, so it's like 120 degrees some days, and the next thing you know, it's pouring rain and it's in the 70s. It's crazy. Oh, Miss Bell, Mr. says, you look so handsome in a suit. Thank you. When I was growing up, I was like so anti-establishment, business. I never wanted to wear a suit, and so I never worked for a big company. I never did any type of work that I had to wear a suit until I got in. I started working in hospitals, and they make you wear suits and dress up all like this. And it's all stuffy and it's uncomfortable, and I didn't really like that. So, when I started my shape lipo, it's like it's my business. I can make whatever rules I want, right? So I dress comfortable every day, except for occasions you got to look good, you got to feel good, right? But I look good and feel good every day. I don't need clothes to do that for me. Welcome, Leanne, Charlotte. Okay, that's the diamond in the back. Which one are you talking about? I'm sure we got a bunch of them in the background. Zara says, who are you wearing? Oh, that's funny. As if I know. As if I care. No, actually, it's funny. I was literally just giving the talk about how I don't really care about dressing up like this. So this is a nice suit. I'm sure it's got some brand name to it. It was expensive. I don't really care. It looks good. But I appreciate you guys noticing. It's the MP by Maylee. It says, do you guys do leg lipo below the knees? Yeah, we do. We'll suck fat out of wherever. I've been doing this for 15, 16 years now, thousands and thousands of procedures. I've sucked out of fat out of every part of the body, and I feel comfortable with the stuff pretty much anywhere. Calves and ankles are rare. I don't know many doctors that do it, and it's simple because they're just not very common. There's not that many patients that get calves and ankle liposuction, so you don't get much practice. And I'm fortunate that when I specialize in liposuction, this is all we do. We get a lot of everything, so I've gotten a lot of practice at everything. And calves and ankles is one of those things that even with my practice is not very common. But over the years, I've done 20 or 30 of these procedures, which is I think a lot more than most doctors in this country have done. And the results are good. There are some limitations. When you get below the knees, the fat quality seems to be different, and it seems to be a higher propensity for dimpling and irregularities. And I don't know what it is. It's something about the quality of the fat down there. But here's the thing. I always tell girls, you got to weigh the pros and the cons. And if you got big, massive calves and ankles, and you got this like where your knee goes right into your ankle, and it's like a tree trunk, then the benefit is going to outweigh the risks. So even if you have some dimpling, we're going to get you significantly smaller, and you'll feel better about yourself. You'll be able to fit into boots. You'll be able to wear pants differently, and it'll look different. Now, let's say the surface of the skin is you may have some irregularities. Usually, when you're that big, you already have dimples and irregularities. So when we say risk, risk benefits, you have to try to imagine it's never going to be perfect. So there's always going to be some potential risks to doing these procedures. But if the benefits far outweigh the risks, then let's go for it. And you got to, and this is what we talk about on the formal consultations, where I will address these issues with you and gauge your level of risk taking. Some people are like, you know what, I'm okay. I would never show my calves and ankles anyway, so even if there's some dimples and some irregularities, it's not perfect. That's okay. If I never show my calves and ankles again in the future, I'm willing to take the risk, because it's possible. What if it comes out really good? That's a distinct possibility too. So it's worth taking a risk. And again, as an individual, you need to make these decisions, but that's true with treating anything, whether that's the abdomen, the thighs, the arms, the chin, that you're always inherently taking risks about getting the results that you want. And it's possible that you don't get the results that you want. But here's the truth. You're taking the risk. I do my job. I do the best that I can. And even though most of the time it turns out phenomenal, incredible, every once in a while, the individual's potential is not the same as other people's, and so the results don't come out the same. See, Charlotte says, most plastic surgeons talk about the lower back having a diamond to bring out the curvature in lower back, resulting in the booty pop. Am I right? Yeah, I've heard that technology. I've heard that terminology before, and they're just basically talking about the shape of that, because it's the diamond being the bottom part going into the butt. So I don't know. I mean, it's a trendy term if you want to use it. Okay. But I make the booty pop. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it diamond. You want to call it awesomeness. Make up whatever term you want. Oh, whoops. A phone call coming in. Okay. Jessica says, how much fat you take out from the body at a time? So here's the thing: is that we do large volume liposuction where we're removing large volumes of fat, and the safety for this procedure, there's a limitation in how much you can take out safely. What happens when you remove large volumes of fat is your body, it's almost as if it's a volume. And when I say volume, think of this as liquid. And so when we pull out this volume of fat, it's almost like volume of fluid. And so the body becomes inherently dehydrated. So after large volume liposuction, the patients experience this they call it a fluid shift, but it's essentially your volume depleted, and you are severely dehydrated because the fluid from all your blood shifts into the area that we treated as it swells up, and when it shifts into that area, it shifts away from the organs, the vital organs in the blood, and that keeps you going. So what happens in being severely dehydrated is the symptoms would be lightheaded, dizziness, fainting, nausea, vomiting, all these things. That's possible with large volume liposuction. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. I pushed the limits so far. We've had issues that it wasn't good, so now we're back off of that, right? And look, I'm just doing what people ask me to do, and when I push the limits where I feel comfortable pushing them, and at some point I have to draw my lines based on my experience. So I created the quick quote. You can go to our website, myshapelipo.com. I created the quick quote specifically intertwined with safety protocols. So we ask for your height and your weight, which gives us a measure of your BMI. And the BMI is not used as a restrictive measure, but rather an inclusive, and we categorize you into these different safety protocols and pricing protocols. And so if you're interested in getting your pricing, go to our website, get the quick quote. It's a quick and easy way to get it. And when you're asking about how much, so clearly you can see we get a lot of fat out of people, and we're get enough to make these type of changes. Now, as far regarding the safety, it's interesting that the studies have shown that you can actually remove larger volumes of fat from larger individuals safely, in comparison to the same volume off of a smaller individual. You got to think of this as like as percentage. So the percentage of fat that we remove from you is the same for the big person and the small person. However, the larger individual, the percentage is a larger volume. So we can safely remove larger volumes from larger individuals. With that said, there's still a limitation. So what I did to get around this is I isolate and I treat a specific area. So if the front of your abdomen is a problem, we just treat the front of the abdomen, and that's why we can get these type of dramatic results. I isolate and I take the bulk of the fat off this one area, so we get a large amount of volume out of here. It makes it significantly smaller. We can get this fold to go away. Even on these very large individuals, it's crazy. It's crazy what's possible. I'm telling you, I do this every day, and it still blows me away when I see the results. Okay, I'm a Lash Johnson says, that's people's problem. Stop worrying about material shit. It isn't the clothes, it's the person in it. All right, I appreciate that. True that. It's this is it's really it's a mindset, right? And when you're worried about what other people think about you, you're worried about these things. What do I look like? What my clothes are? How's my belly? You're so worried about what other people think, and the only thing that matters is what you think. And I'm happy. I like the way I look. If these clothes aren't good, then so what? It's just the clothes. I'm gonna take them off, right? And if I look stupid now, I'm gonna look better later when I take them off. But stop worrying about what other people think, and start focusing on what you want out of your life. And so, when you're only focused on pleasing other people, it's really easy to lose yourself because you forget what you want. If you're doing what other people want, then you don't even remember what you want, and so you start to lose yourself. And many of you may be stuck in this world, and when you're thinking, you're so worried about what kind of car you drive, what kind of eyelashes you have, your eyeshadow, your clothes, your whatever. And you know what? You might be like, well, I really don't like this, and then you try to make up for it with other things, these other trinkets and fancy colors and long lashes and big hair, like to distract away from these other things. But when you start focusing and shift that focus inward on yourself, you start to love yourself. And that's the key. If you can learn to love yourself, none of the other stuff really matters. It really doesn't. That's why you can see when you go in Vegas, we have these pools out here, right? And there's thousands of people going to these pools, and they're big, they're small, it doesn't even matter. It's huge, right? These girls are still in bikinis and they love themselves. And they're strutting their shit out there like it's nobody's business. And are they wrong? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sexy is just, it's what you define it as. And if you define it as being bigger, then it is what it is. It's your definition. It may not be my definition, but it can be yours. And so stop worrying about what people I think. If I don't think it's sexy, then don't worry about what I think. Worry about the people that think it's sexy, and stay within that world. And this is kind of what I've talked about previously, where you are the 5 closest people around you. So you get influenced by people around you. So if the people around you are telling you, hey, that's ugly, you shouldn't do that, maybe you should find new friends that support you and tell you, they like what you're doing. So, for example, you're in high school, a kid, and you start to dress punk, right? You dress punk, and you're totally different than all the hip hop kids, and it's totally different style. Well, you're not gonna go hang out with the people that think you're stupid. That doesn't make sense. So you're gonna hang out with the people that also dress punk, that also act the same way. It's like kinds, they emerge together. You got to do the same thing in your life. Find people that are similar to you, or you want to find them that are better than you, that you admire. So you want to improve yourself, and those people that are above you will help you to elevate and grow. And it's simple. And they'll help you to elevate with your money. They'll help you to elevate with your social status. They'll help you to elevate with the way that you look, with your exercise, with everything. It's everything. It's all inclusive here. You got to surround yourself by people that are, in your eyes, better than you. Okay? If you're the smartest person in the room, that means you're not growing. You're the guy that's speaking to everybody. Everybody's looking up to you. So you want to try to surround yourself by smarter people because they lift you up. Okay, Charlotte, is a tummy transfer different from 360 back and flanks? Charlotte, you're making up a bunch of words here. Tummy transfer, 360 back and flanks. Like we don't really use these terms, and these are just words. You know, just realize it's just words that you're using. So it's really more important the meaning behind those words that you're concerned about. And 360 lipo is just all the way around the waistline. It's just a word. It's all the way around the waistline, the front of the abdomen, the sides for that hourglass figure. So imagine this is what we're doing: flat belly, hourglass figure, and booty pop. That's 360 lipo. And I treat all the areas that are necessary to make flat belly, hourglass figure, and booty pop. Simple. Don't complicate things that are not as complicated as you want them to be. Say, what is it like for someone coming from out of state, follow-up appointments, staying at a hotel? So, you know, Silva Linning, I'm not sure what that says, but Silva, like 85% of our patients are flying in from out of state, so we try to make the process as easy as possible. There's quite a few hotels that are close to the office, and the airport's right there. It's like a 20-minute drive from the airport to our office, and there's hotels literally right around the corner from us. So what you're going to do is you're going to fly in the night before the procedure or the day before the procedure, get checked in at our office, and then stay 2 nights after the procedure. And the reason for that is since we do this under local anesthesia, all this fluid in you is going to be draining out over the next few days. It's good, it's normal. The more that comes out, the better. But it's an inconvenience. So if you're trying to travel during that time period, imagine going through security and you got this stuff dripping down you got these garments and pads all over you. You don't want to get questioned at that point, right? So put yourself in a situation that it's going to make it easier for you. Follow-up appointments, we do follow-up the following day after the procedure, at which time we have a lymphatic drainage suit that we have you hop in, and the lymphatic drainage suit it's comfortable, and if you have any issues at that point with your garment, we're going to help you change the garment and move things around if that's what you need. But yeah, that's the only, and it's not even required. If you don't want to come to that, that's your choice. The recovery after this procedure is, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to be wearing compression garment. You're going to have these holes, with these, we call them adits. This is where we access the fat and get in from the various sites. These will be, they're open wounds, and you'll be draining fluid out of them. And the fluid is it's saline mixed with some blood, so it looks worse than it really is. It's really just a bunch of fluid. Imagine if we're going to pump you full of fluid, like 4 or 5 liters of fluid. That fluid needs to come out. Some of it gets sucked out during the procedure. Some of it drains out on the table. And then the next day or so, that fluid will drain out. So it's messy, inconvenient. So do the best that you can to take care of yourself for those 2 days. And then by that point, the drainage usually stops and you can get back to doing fun stuff. Okay, and I'm going to pin our quick quote link on Instagram, and up on Facebook the quick quote link is up in the post. So if you're just hopping on here and you're interested, you're thinking like, how much does this stuff cost, you can go click on that quick quote link and it get you instant pricing. So literally right now while I'm speaking, take that link, put it into another toolbar, and you can open up the page and fill out the information while we're speaking right here. Okay, how long is the recovery? So the recovery, well, we were talking a little bit about the drainage after the procedure. The next step in the process is once that fluid drains out and those holes they close up, the body will start to it'll start to swell up, and essentially it sends fluid to the area that we treated in an attempt to immobilize you. So if you had no compression garments on, it would swell up really, really big, and it would immobilize you. That's what your body tries to do naturally. Okay, so we're trying to hack the system. We hack the system by putting compression garments on. We close down that space so that we don't allow the body to swell into it as much. You're going to swell some, but we try to reduce the amount of swelling. So the compression garments on, And so you're going to swell into that. The next step in the process after the swelling is just, it typically will get very hard and firm. That tissue gets very hard and firm. Now, the interesting thing about this is what you'll notice is the skin gets tight and firm with this tissue, and then that firmness will start to dissolve away as the body regulates itself, and it'll dissolve away all that swelling. And as it does that, the skin contracts back. And this is where it's pretty amazing what happens, because as that shrinks up, everything shrinks up, and it's pretty cool to watch. Glorious woman. It seems like you sculpt the body too. And glorious woman, we sculpt everything. You take fat off of wherever you got it. One of my favorite areas is this chin. You got this fat that goes all the way across the chin here that causes a oval face. So you see this, it's almost like a square face, and you lose the jawline. And we're going to take the fat above the jawline. Some people call this the jowls. And then we take everything below the neck here, which effectively defines this jawline and creates an oval face. So you can see how that jawline is defined there. And previously it was like the face to neck. There's no definition. The thickness here is the same thickness in the neck, and so it goes straight down. Some people have it even more. So like when they get this the side view, their neck goes, the chin to neck, and so there's no differentiation from their face to their neck. You can kind of see how that works here. And again, some people are even worse than this. So with the liposuction, we can take away that fat, and it's like boom, instant change. Now, obviously you're going to have some recovery times and swelling, but the change is instant, and it's pretty incredible what's possible. So if your chin bothers you, the double chin, it's like a no-brainer. Just get it done. It's so easy, and it's something like if it's been bothering you your whole life, just get it done and move on with your life. There's no reason you have to have that hanging fat, that neck, that double chin, that side profile. There's really no reason. The Marley Man, what's up? Thank you. I did a TV interview earlier. I just came straight from it, and so that's why I'm all dressed up nice. I don't really like dressing like this, but I thought I would bless you guys with these amazing views, right? I'm joking. All right, she said, Ken Marley Man, can't wait for mine. Okay, she says she actually referred a lady to check you out. They discussed having a mommy makeover done. All right, cool. I appreciate anybody that you send our way, because here's the truth is we're not able to really advertise this stuff publicly. So anytime we post these things on Facebook, any of the social media, they like take this stuff down saying it's nudity and we can't show this stuff, or they say it's body shaming because you're showing before and after, saying that the fat is bad and the thin is good. So they call that body shaming. So anyhow, the point is that I need you to tell your friends and family, even if you're not going to get these procedures, it makes sense to share this type of knowledge with your friends and family, that it's possible. Somebody like this. You do. Somebody that's got this big belly that's hanging over, and you know what? They wear their pants in the middle of their belly because they don't want to have the belly hanging over it. These people. These people that are hiding. They're insecure. They're very quiet because they don't want to draw attention to them. These people. These are the people you need to help. It's like paying it forward. Right? You got to help these people. Maybe they're your family members, maybe they're your coworkers, maybe you saw some lady that she just looks super uncomfortable, and you have the way to help these people. Isn't it your responsibility? You have the ability to now help people with this. So what is your response? Right? It's your responsibility. What's up, Billion? Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Okay, Glam Time TV. Okay, if I'm interested in a second procedure, you had 360 lipo in April, would you be able to use the same before pics, or do you require a whole new consultation? It's usually you're going to look different after the procedure, so I would imagine, unless you're treating the thighs and we didn't do anything with it. But the truth is, it's the quick quote that I'm going off for the pricing. So, that's really what's most important. And if you don't want to send new pictures, I could probably make do with that. But I'd really like to see how you look, right? Post that stuff. Silva says, is it okay to do hips, thighs, and belly at the same time? So here's the thing that you start getting into when we talk about removing too much. The way that I have created this quick quote and this safety protocol and this pricing category system, it was the intent was to do the maximum amount, the biggest procedure for a person of your size. And so what I found with that is that the individuals that came to me, and I've done this a lot of different ways. And when I did this per area before, what it allowed is it allowed for people to make stupid decisions, and they would decide to choose one area in an area that really needed three areas treated. And they would do that one area in the thighs, one area in the abdomen, one area in the upper body, and it looked like shit everywhere. So I'm tired of doing that because really, you're a reflection of me. And if I do something that looks shitty, it's gonna make me look shitty. And people are gonna see you, they're gonna say bad things, and you're gonna say, well, yeah, I went to My Shape Lipo. I don't want that. So what I did is I made it so my recommendations are very specific. For example, with the front of the abdomen, we used to do areas, and a lot of women with big full bellies, for cost reasons, they wouldn't treat the pubic area because it was per area. So they wouldn't treat the pubic area. Now we would get a flat belly, and it looks like they got some package. Right? The fupa. Nobody likes that. So I started seeing over and over and over, they keep coming back for this fupa. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the responsibility of making a good decision for yourself. I'm going to take that away from you because some people, they need that taken away. Especially if you're trying to do a bunch of different things all over the place. You need to try to focus on one problem and do that really, really well. You get the best damn results for that one problem. And then when you solve that problem, then you move on to the next problem. And typically, the way that I've broken this down is the problems. You got the upper body. The upper body would include the arms, the underarm, the upper back, and the chin. Okay, and that's a lot of work for most people. That's a lot of work to do in one procedure. So you got the upper body and then the midsection. The midsection would be all the way around the waistline. Now, some people are so big we can't even do all of that in one procedure. We have to break it up into two procedures. Again, we're just trying to isolate to get the maximum amount of fat out for the biggest, most dramatic change. And then the next third would be the bottom half, where the lower body, the legs, the inner thighs, the knees, the outer thighs. And as you get bigger, we can do full thighs, circumferential. We also do the calves and the ankles. So when you say the thighs, the hips, and then the belly, I'm kind of leaning, away from that because typically, if you have the belly problem, it's a bigger problem than you think it is. Go get the formal consultation, and this is where I can review the pictures and we'll discuss. Now, occasionally, if you're adamant, this is what I want, I'm going to explain to you all the pros and cons and all the limitations that I see and reasons why not to do that. I'm going to try and talk you out of it. But if you keep saying, I want this, I don't care all the negative stuff that you say, I don't care about that stuff, then I'm going to, it's your money, your body, right? And I'm just not going to use the pictures. But I want to do what's right for you, and that's why, I'm very forward and straight up with all of this stuff. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I'm going to tell you exactly the way it is. So if what you're asking is going to get you shitty results, I'm going to try to talk you out of it. Okay, what if you have a lot of extra skin and hanging belly? Do you think skin will tighten over time, or should skin removal be considered? So here's the generalized. First of all, I don't know. You're an individual, and everybody's different. But with that said, we've had very, very, very large individuals with the belly hanging, down so far you can't even see their pubic area, and it's loose skin. Despite all those issues, it retracts back. It's amazing how this stuff works. Now, it may not be completely gone, but it's way smaller, way smaller. Now, if you want the skin cut away, it can always be cut away later. That's easy, But if you have fat and loose skin, when they do the tummy tuck, they just take the loose skin and leave you with the fat. And so what happens is I get a lot of people that come back for liposuction after a tummy tuck. So my recommendations are I think I can get this out without a tummy tuck. I think the skin will retract back nicely. If I'm wrong, which occasionally I am, if I'm wrong, maybe you have too loose skin afterwards and you want to cut off, okay, you can. I'd say about 95% of our patients avoid a tummy tuck. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're the person that you really want a tummy tuck, because that's really what it comes down to. If you want the skin cut away, you're going to be thinking about it. And if you're thinking about it a lot, it's going to be attracted to you. You're going to keep seeing it. You're going to keep wanting it. And then when you look down in your belly, you're going to see the loose skin. You're like, I really want to cut away. So if you need it and this is something that you want, then get it done. I'm not gonna hate on you. But you don't need to. Nobody needs to. It's just you want to. What's up, Marilyn? Dania, Jeanette. All right, let's see. Anna Lopez. Do you do cheeks with lipo? So this is one of those things. It's another kind of nomenclature. The word that you're using, I don't know. Cheeks to me is like up here, and this is too high. I wouldn't go. So this is exactly what I do. Okay, I draw a line from the corner of the ear to the corner of the mouth. So take it with your fingers like this, just like that. You gotta make the noise too. Okay, we're gonna go above the jawline, and then down here, there's usually a natural endpoint where the fullness that you have, it kind of comes down here, and it'll start to kind of, not hang over, but it'll go, it's where it goes back to where you don't really have much fat. So we go down nice and low, behind the ear here, nice and low, and get all this stuff. So you see right here. So from behind the ear, we're gonna go down, and you see how that natural endpoint, that's about where I end. Up top, corner of the ear, corner of the mouth, where you gotta make the noise. Like that. Alright, hope you guys are having fun today. So that's the cheek. So you call that cheeks. We call it jowls, but it's just words. Hopefully you can understand the words that I'm saying. What's up, Millie? Mary Jonathan. Alright, let's see. Oh, we got Rosemary Nago. She says, hi, I love these live chats. Just moved to Vegas and I'm very interested in lipo. I've been over the road trucker for 6 years, and of course you can imagine how I let go. Now that I'm local, working out and eating healthier, my next step will be you. Well, that's awesome. It's interesting. We actually have quite a few truckers. Right on cue here. This is Tricky Mickey. If you're not part of our private Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, I know a lot of people are fleeing Facebook like it's a different country or something. But we have a private Facebook group where many of our previous patients are there. They're sharing their story. And this young lady, Tricky Mickey, she's a trucker. She shares her story there, and she's one of those kind of like me. She tells you the way it is, loud, outspoken, obnoxious perhaps, but she's funny, and if you like that, you're gonna love her. Let's see. How long do you need to take off from work for recovery? So it kind of depends on what kind of work that you do. Our statistics show that about 85% of our patients claim that they were able to go back to sedentary type work within 3 days after the procedure. Now that might be you, that might not be you. There's going to be some individuals that clearly they're not ready to. Specifically, like the larger individuals, you tend to swell more, and recovery is more of a challenge. You may drain more, so it might be a little bit more difficult. Smaller individuals, you may be able to bounce back right away. I know when I personally had my procedure done, it was like, didn't slow me down at all. I rode my motorcycle home that night and came back to work the next day, and I never skipped a beat. But that's me. I wouldn't recommend that for you. You gotta do what's right for you. And our recommendations are, again, to when you're traveling, don't ride your motorcycle home. Don't go to work the next day. Right? Don't do it. I had to make all the mistakes so you don't have to. Right? I sacrificed. You're welcome. Let's see. Anna Vega says, is this safe for diabetics? Well, in fact, many of our patients, as you can see, we do large volume liposuction, and many of our patients are very large. And as you're getting big like that, that's one of the consequences is the fat itself. It causes issues with your body's ability to create insulin, and you get insulin resistance. So with liposuction, we removed a substantial amount of fat, and that fat that was causing the problem is now gone. And so when the fat is gone, the restrictive nature that is causing the diabetes is somehow it eliminates the problem. And I'm not sure exactly how this works because there's very few studies on it, but definitely there are studies that show that liposuction benefits diabetes. So while you may be concerned about getting the procedure because of the diabetes, when in fact the reality is getting the procedure is going to make it significantly better for you afterwards. So that's the thought process, right? You got it. You're taking a risk, but the benefit. It's a risk benefit here. You got to, if you're concerned about your pre-diabetic, or you got diabetes running in the family, or maybe you're full-blown diabetic, as long as it's controlled. And so when I say controlled, we do blood tests prior to the procedure that measures your hemoglobin A1C. If you're diabetic, you know what I'm talking about. The hemoglobin A1C is a measurement. It's a back measurement. It tells me how well you controlled your blood sugars for the past 3 months. Now, as long as that's well maintained, we can move forward with the procedure. Now, if your hemoglobin A1C is not controlled and your blood sugars are totally out of control, then you got to get that taken care of first. And that might be just a 1-2 month where you're taking your medication properly and get you back on track. We've had a few people that had to do that. It's unfortunate, but in the long run, it's going to help. What's up, Mary? Vanessa Rodriguez. Leslie Torres. Torres Bonilla. You like my Spanish accent? I hope you guys enjoy that. Okay, Cassie, you're awesome. Janet from the block. Janet from the block. Okay, I get it. These Instagram names. Takes you a while to read them, but Janet from the block. I get it. It's a play on Jenny from the block. I am with it. So you can see when these individuals, this is an individual that's at risk for diabetes, right? They probably have high blood pressure, they may be pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, and it's also limiting when you start getting fat, that much fat that you're carrying around you, that extra weight. I tell people, imagine like you're carrying around a 50-pound backpack, and I don't care how heavy you are, you put on a 50-pound backpack, that shit's heavy. It's heavy. So these heavier individuals, imagine take that backpack away and it's like you're alive. You can move again. No restrictions. Glorious Woman says Lipo 360 says front abdomen only, and the 360 for the waist. What about the back? So Glorious Woman, that's going to be if you're talking about you might be talking about the higher BMI. So there's a certain BMI at the quick quote that is the cutoff. So once you get above a certain BMI, we cut it off. So we make it so you treat the front of the abdomen because you carry a large volume. For example, this young lady here, we would treat the front of the abdomen because she carries a significant volume of fat on the front of the abdomen. And in order to get this whole belly to go away, that fold to go away, I need to be ultra aggressive and get out a significant volume of fat. And if I try to spread the treatment area over a large area, I won't be able to get out as much fat over the whole area. It would be mediocre results. And in fact, that's what lots of doctors do. I have these patients recently from New York, from Chicago, Miami area, even St. Louis. They're doing liposuction 360 on these larger individuals, but they do a half-assed job where they take out 4 or 5 liters of fat from the 360, but on a bigger individual, these individuals really need 10 to 12 liters of fat out of their midsection. If you want to get awesome results, if you just want to be a little bit smaller, you want a little bit of help, then you'll go to these guys that do these, the full 360, but only do a half-assed job. That's okay if that's what you want, right? But my philosophy, the way that I do things, is I want to get huge dramatic change. And the only way to do this is to be ultra aggressive. And the only way to be ultra aggressive is to isolate and treat the areas separately, right? So clearly with this woman, we probably got, about 4 or 5 liters of fat out of the front of the belly, maybe more. And then you can see she's got all this on the back side too. So if we try to do 4 or 5 liters on the front and try and do 4, 5, 6 liters out of the back, all of a sudden you're talking 10, 11, 12 liters, and now you're talking issues with volume problems, lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, and now you get all kinds of medical issues, which risk and benefit, it's not worth it. This is a cosmetic procedure. It's not worth it to have physical problems, medical problems after this procedure. It's not, because you're gonna find that you spend your money like these girls that go to Mexico and don't come back, right? You're spending money, it's less money, but I'm sorry, things went wrong and you didn't quite make it. That sucks, right? Don't be that person that goes to DR trying to get full body liposuction for $3,000. That's crazy. It's crazy. Anybody, like, if you allow, see, here's the thing: if you allow people to do this to you, that's on you. You didn't do your research properly. I'm here and I'm telling you the way it is, and I do large volume liposuction all the time, so I know the limits. I know them because I push them every day, and I know that if you were my family member, my sister, my mom, my aunt, I would not put your life at risk. And so that's the way I try to treat all of my patients, as if you were my family member. Because you know what? When you come in to My Shape, you become our family. We got our My Shape family on the group, and all these previous patients there are still there. They're still sharing, mentoring. If you're coming into the group and you got questions you haven't had the procedure with yet, it's almost like you have all these friends and family members already, and they're there for you, supporting you, and throughout the entire process. So once you get the procedure, they're still supporting you, they're still watching, they're still enjoying and helping you along the path, whether that's eating right, whether that's changing your garment afterwards, whether that's getting lymphatic massages, body shapers, whether it's using the tools like the foam or the lipo board. These are all things that the girls are talking about on the group. That it's one thing to just hear it once, but when you get to hear the opinions of lots of different patients, this is very, very valuable information. So if you're not on the private Facebook group yet, you got to get on there. If you're a patient, you need to help. These girls are mentoring. Rebecca here, she's had the procedure multiple times. Had the procedure 3 years ago or something like that, and she's got all this experience, and she's sharing it. And then as she shares her experience, it helps you that are coming, just getting your procedure, or maybe you're not sure, what you want to do yet. Talking to somebody who's had multiple procedures, it changes your perspective and allows you to make a decision from a different point of view. And that's ultimately what you really need. If you're trying to make the right decision, you got to have the right people informing you. If you go see a plastic surgeon, he's like, "Oh, you had a kid, you're 120 pounds, you need a tummy tuck." That's bullshit. You go into somebody who's telling you stuff that just, like, if that's not what you want, then go ask for a different opinion. And especially when someone like me who's not speaking the everyday Joe language, that I'm telling you the same crap that the guy next door says. I'm telling you unique stuff because this is what I do off of my thousands and thousands of procedures of experience. That's why we get these results. Not because I followed these other clowns, did the same thing that they did, told you the same restrictions, and play by the same rules. No, I don't play by those rules. I make the stuff up. I innovate. I grow, I advance. I'm constantly getting better, and it's me getting better. And by me getting better, you get better. See how that works? It's the same thing that you do. You got to focus on yourself. As you get better, your family gets better. As you get better, your kids will get better. Why? Because you're an example to them. They don't really listen to what you say, but they see what you do. And you're either a positive example or a negative example. Now, sometimes being a negative example will flip the kids backwards. So I'll tell you how that works. My dad smoked cigarettes. I saw him smoke all through my life, and I hated it. I hate the smell of smoke. It's disgusting to me. So because of what he did, he sacrificed so I didn't have to. And I realized that smoking bad, and it stopped me. I didn't do it. Consequently, he ends up dying of cancer, which further, to me, solidifies the lesson: don't smoke cigarettes. Okay? I am choosing to be, instead of a negative influence that my kids got to figure it out themselves, I want to be that positive influence. I want to show them the path. I want to show them the right way to do and to live their life. And it's the same thing. I do this for you as well. I make myself better so you can see how it's done. I'm setting an example. And those of you who are picking up what I'm putting down, it's like magic. Okay, but you got to stay focused, and you got to see this stuff, and you see the consistency. And I'll speak about these lessons, these things that I do consistently over and over and over. And you're like, "Oh, it's repetitive. I've heard that before. I already know that." Bullshit. Unless you have 100% implemented these lessons into your life. For example, drinking water. Oh, I already know that. Right, but if you're not drinking, half your body weight in ounces every single day consistently for years, then you don't know it yet. You're still working on it. It's a lesson. And that's okay. We're all working on stuff. That's why I repeat it over and over, because not only do you need to hear it, I need to hear it. Seriously, sometimes you forget this stuff. Or, it's easy to not do. And that's the big problem. So just as easy as some of these things are to do, it's easy to drink water, right? But it's easy to not do. And that's the reason why people don't do it. It's easy to save money, but it's easier to spend it. That's why most people are broke, right? So in life, you're going to find that it's not that difficult to have everything that you want. But it's really easy to give it all away too. And so if you don't have the discipline in yourself, and you don't have the experience, the knowledge, the wisdom to follow the right path, then you're going to be following these people that are taking you down this wrong path and doing the wrong things. And as you go down the wrong path, it takes you backwards. Then you got to loop back around and get back in line again. You ever been at Disneyland or Magic Mountain or something like that, and you get in line, you're like, wait, I think there's another line up there, I can get there, and you get out of line, you go up there, and then you realize, oh shoot, this is for a different ride, and then you turn around and the line just got 20 people longer. You're like, damn it, I gotta get back in line. That's the same thing, right? You think you're gonna get ahead, or you think you want to do something, but it takes you off your path. And when you realize you get off the path, you go, damn it, now I gotta get back in line. And so what does that mean? That means like sometimes maybe you gained 10 pounds because you weren't paying attention, you weren't following the right path, and you got off path and you lost what you had gained. And so sometimes you got to get back, and that's okay, because that's take the hit, get back in line, keep going along the path, because if the longer it takes you to get back on the right path, the worse you are and the harder it gets. Okay. Rosemary says, I heard this is good for people with lymphedema. Is that true? It's a treatment for lymphedema. When you say good for, it's a matter of perspective, right? So if you have lymphedema and liposuction can get rid of it, then it's great for you. Studies show that the results from lymphedema treatment with liposuction, it's about a 50-50 shot. However, when I talk about the risks and the benefits, if you have lymphedema, it's usually in the lower legs, calves area, you have lymphedema and you're like, I look like an elephant, I feel like an elephant, and I have these tree trunks, I'm plopping around, and I hate it. I never go outside. I don't want anybody to see me like this. I would never wear shorts. If that's you, then the benefit's going to far outweigh the potential risks. So it's worth it to take the risk, in my opinion, in certain situations. And even though it may be a 50-50 shot, it's worth it to take the risks if you're like, I just don't like the way I am now. And in many cases, that's what happens. With these larger individuals, they get to this point where, like, I'm so sick of where I am now. I'm so sick of this big belly. I'm so sick of being unhealthy. I'm so sick of being out of breath going up and down stairs. I'm so sick of not being able to fit in clothes. I'm so sick of feeling like I need to hide every time someone pulls out a camera, like, smile, like, no. Once you get sick of that stuff and you're done, it's like you draw that hard line in the sand, like, that's it, no more, I'm not going back, no more of this crap. And you make a decision, and once you make that decision, you can go on the path. It's the right way. In Chinese, they call it the Tao. Okay, it's the way. This is the way. There is a right way to do everything. There's a right way to live your life. There is a right way, but you need to find the path, and you all know it. I think you know it because when you're on the path, things are right. You feel good. Everything feels good. Everything's smooth. It's like being in the river and you're flowing with the river. Everything's going. But now some people are like, whoa, I wanted to go back there, and they turn in the river and they start rolling backwards. That shit's hard. You're rolling. No, I want to go back. I want to go back. You can't go back. You can't go back. You need to flow forward. This is the way time works. Time doesn't go backwards. All of us, we're being pushed forward, and you know what? Change is going to happen regardless. Whether you want it to change or not, it's going to change because time goes forward, not backwards. So instead of fighting the current, you need to figure out a way to go with the flow, and there's a right way. There's a right way. Now, sometimes you may be on this path, this river of life, and you're going down and everything feels good, and all of a sudden, you can see there's a rock up ahead, okay? When you're paying attention to what's in front of you and not what's behind you, you actually see the rock, okay? It's an obstacle. It's a challenge that you might have in your life. Now, when you see it coming, you can simply step aside, let it go right by you, okay? That's possible. That's how some people make life look so easy, because they're paying attention. They see the challenge and they just step aside and say, let it go, okay? And sometimes people are like, oh my God, there's a challenge, and they put their feet up and they block and they get stuck on the rock. And they're hung up on this rock, and it's like, what am I gonna do? And they're so focused on it, and like, they don't even see anything else. The water's coming over their head. They're getting drowned, they're drowning, and they're struggling, when sometimes you need someone to be like, hey dude, go around. Make the little sound. Just go around. Sometimes it's that easy, because when you get focused on the problems, you're focused on it, and that's all you see. You run right into it, and you're like, and it's freaking you out. You got to just go around. Maybe you can't go around. Maybe it's too big. Go over it. Dig a hole. Go under it. Or what I like to do is just put your head down and plow right through it. Look. Any way you approach obstacles, you have to go straight at the obstacle, whatever it is in your life. If it's a money obstacle, relationship obstacle, deciding whether you need liposuction obstacle or tummy tuck obstacle, you got to go straight at it and make the decision with eyes wide open, and you're paying attention to everything around you. So when you do that, you're more prone to make the right decisions. When you just jump into things, you're going to make wrong decisions. And when you make the wrong decisions, it gets you off path, right? You want to stay on path, this right path. What's up, Marlene, Pam, Sharon, Joe, Brittany Knowles, my rock star liposuction girl. I just saw some updated photos of you, Brittany. You're still looking hot, still looking lean, like the rock star you are. It's so fun. If you guys don't know who Brittany Knowles is, she just jumped on here on Facebook, and she's one of the girls on our private Facebook group, sharing her story. It's interesting to just see how people are able to take this liposuction procedure and transform their lives with it. And it gives you the confidence, the ability to do the things that you want to do without the restrictions. And like I said, sometimes it's like this. It's like you got this 50-pound monkey or backpack or blanket or whatever you want to call it wrapped around you, and with the liposuction we just take it off and it's gone. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, what can I do now? And you realize that, holy shit, anything's possible. Anything's possible. I mean, look at Brittany. She posts these pictures. She took some sexy pictures of her in these little clothes and outfits and stuff. I mean, anything's possible. She can do whatever she wants. She's not restricted anymore. She can become whoever she wants to be. And now what happens if she doesn't become anything? Do you know people who have all the talent, all the knowledge, all the smartest people in the world, and they can't figure out how to make things work, right? They can't figure out how to make money. They can't figure out how to do anything. But yet sometimes there's these guys that drop out of high school, drop out of college, and then they end up the CEOs of Facebook, or the CEO of Microsoft. These are the people. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be the richest person in the world. You don't have to be the strongest person in the world. All you got to do is figure it out for you. That's it. That's it. All right, we're going to wrap this up here in just a minute here. Any quick questions? Brittany, thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate you. You've been a positive example for everybody in our group, and from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. And it's fun watching you. It's so cool watching you change and improve and get better. And that's why I advocate for all of our patients. It's got to be a constant, never-ending improvement. Yeah, she says those can'ts are just a mind fuck. Yeah, anything's possible. So when the mind starts telling you can't do it, that's when you got to be like, fuck you. And you got to rebel against it, right? Because the mind is not you. The mind is the rest of the consciousness in this world. Is the rest of the people. It's your mom telling you, no, you can't do that. It's too hard. Or no, you shouldn't eat that. Or no, you shouldn't do that. That's someone else telling you. That's when you get these little voices in your head. And so you got to realize that's not me. I'm making decisions. I'm in charge. And when you take that I'm in charge stance, your whole world changes because now you take responsibility for yourself. And when there's an issue, you can do it because you're the one that needs to change. Right? All right. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you're interested, the next step is get your quick quote, you get your pricing, and then when you're serious, you're ready to move forward, is get your formal consultation. That's where you're going to send in pictures and meet with me directly. You can develop a plan and get you started on the right path. So thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.